Venus entering Aries. So this is Friday, March 6th at 5:46 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, Venus is planet of love, peace, and balance. Wherever Venus is moving and transiting through our chart, this is an area where we're being asked to release our grip, look at our relationships, look at how things are flowing or not flowing, because we're trying to encourage that movement of energy, that ease, that relaxation, and as I mentioned before, balance. And this is happening in Aries. And Venus does not like to be in Aries. I have a bias here. I have a natal Venus in Aries, so I don't care. But objectively, Venus is considered in detriment when it's in Aries. And that means that it is kind of agitated, is the way you could think about it. That's like, ugh, this is so annoying. And that's because the traits of Venus are totally oppositional to that of Aries. And in part, that has to do with the fact that Venus rules the sister sign of Aries, Libra. And anytime the planet is at the farthest point from home in detriment, it's just like, oh, I'm like lost and confused. I don't even know what to do here. Like, oh, this is so frustrating. That's really how it is operating. So it still wants to bring flow. It's just a little bit harder to do that because it's like, this is really uncomfy. I don't like being over here. And that is because Aries cardinal fire sign is aggressive, it's combative, it's very action oriented. That's not really Venus's vibe. Venus is like, let's just relax. Like, let's enjoy ourselves. Let's all get along. And Aries just is not that way at all. The last time that we had a Venus and Aries transit was February 4th through March 27th of 2025. And this, for reference, included a pre-shadow and retrograde. So last year we had Venus retrograding around this time, which it's not doing here, but it's going to do later. It's going to do it later in the year. It's going to retrograde. But the last time it retrograded was the beginning of 2025 in early springtime. And it was moving through Aries and had the pre-shadow and the retrograde during those dates that I mentioned. So basically all of February and all of March, it had the lead up, and then it started to retrograde. And then it backed up into Pisces. And so we have a gap in time where it was in a different sign. And then it returned into Aries, meaning it moved through direct motion, and then the post-shadow. And that was from April 30th through June 6th. So minus the gap in the middle, because we have to admit that because it was in Pisces, it was a different area. February 4th through June 6th. It's a long period of time. So it's 5 months from the start and end of the storyline, but there was a gap in the middle that was all of April, where it was in Pisces instead. So those would be the two chunks of time that we would want to look at. And we, of course, have to keep in mind that there was a retrograde. This time, it's just moving through. It's not going to retrograde. So the flavor of it is going to be a little bit different. So it's not a one-to-one comp because of the disruption and because of the retrograde piece, but still similar in nature to the signatures of this type of a transit. And this go around, so again, this is happening March 6th. It's going to be in Aries until March 30th. So in essence, the entire month of March, at which point right at the tail end, at the end, it will move into Taurus, which it also rules. So not only does it get happy to be out of Aries because it's in detriment there, it's like, yay, I get to go home again. And so it's really, really excited to move into Taurus, which we'll get to experience in April. So what we can expect between now and then is increased passionate impulses. So that goes both ways. They're both very passionate, but for different reasons. For Aries, it's much more of the fire, but Aries is also known to be very like unfiltered and just let's go, let's do this. So we want to be mindful of that because that can work for us, but it also could work against us. It all depends on the circumstances. We also could be more inspired to take creative action. Venus is a very creative planet, very artsy. So inspired action, whatever it is that we are producing, maybe it's just for ourselves, maybe it's for others. That's something we could opt to lean into over the month. And we also may find that there's a bit of tension between our ability to relax and our desire to do something. So Venus is like, let's just unwind. Let's go through this area of our life and let's tidy it up. Let's beautify it. Let's make it more comfortable, pleasurable. And Aries is like, I got to get up and go. And so then they are in tension with each other the whole month. So you may be waffling back and forth between, oh, I just want to relax and I don't feel like doing anything in this area of life. But then also, oh, I really should do something. And so you're kind of having this internal battle with yourself all month long about what's productive. And as always is the reminder, rest is productive. So Venus is trying to teach you that throughout the coming weeks. I have Aries in my 10th house, and that is career, that's reputation. It's very long-term, big picture oriented. You want to get something done, you want to move that needle. And Venus coming in is like, okay, let's really take inventory. What's going on in career, in my relationship with work, and relationship with perceptions, or how I'm being seen, or what people are saying or not saying, and how much I'm worrying about that or not. It becomes that seesaw back and forth to figure out ways to like let go a little bit with what I am doing, or maybe how rigid, maybe it's become more rigid. My relationship with the business I've created, as an example. I did mention this. I did mention this at the beginning. Hey, I've been thinking about, and I'm feeling drawn to make some adjustments to how I am teaching or how I am showing up. That's literally this. So I did already say I'm not going to make those changes until April, which is when Venus is out of this sign. But the point is, over the next several weeks, I've already stated, even without thinking about this transit, that I'm going to be ironing out exactly what I want that to look like. So Venus can then be support for me to say, all right, well, what's going to give me more balance in my career, or what I am producing, or what I am putting out into the world? And I can just figure that out. And then, Mars is going to be coming up behind. So we're going to also have that too, of when Mars is entering this sign, we can implement anything that we happen to come up with. Aries rules my 9th house with Chiron at 13 degrees. So for a 9th house, this means that you're looking to find balance in how you're learning and in your belief system, or in travel. So maybe you're feeling more dreamy about wanting to travel, wanting to learn about other cultures, or just like kind of get out there. It just feels like you have an itch, but then you're not going to go do anything necessarily, because that's more the Mars energy. So you're looking to connect. So maybe you are just talking to people, finding community with people that are of other backgrounds, of other cultures. And so you can harness the Venus energy to just like find those people and like talk to those people. And then that can just be the focus and the action. At the point that you have the Chiron conjunction, it just means that it's bringing up some wounding, some patterns. And then Venus is just trying to soothe that, like putting a nice balm on it of like, okay, like we're just checking in. How are we doing with how we are feeling? What's our relationship, Venus, with learning, with teaching, with our connection to the world, with religion, with spirituality? And it's just coming in like, it's trying to offer a soft place for us to land if things are coming up. Marjorie, trip planned for this week, but got pushed back to next week for reasons unrelated. Well, Mercury retrograde, messing with those travel plans. Yeah. So if you're going on a trip, then it's like Venus being really supportive of just trying to enjoy yourself and trying to be present, because you're just take things in on this trip. Just take it in, be open to whatever it is that you're able to learn, just viewing the experience as a learning opportunity, whether it's learning about yourself, learning about the other cultures, learning about your relationship, relative, and it also could be this other thing too. Food, try some different foods, expand your palate. I don't know where it is that you're going, but that's another thing that's great for Venus, because it's like, oh, the pleasures of life. So, look at some art, try some yummy food, and then that will allow you to really lean into that energy. And then it will help you to learn about yourself and about where it is that you're going, and then bring that information back. So then when Mars swoops in, then we can decide what we want to do with that information. Aries is in my 7th house. So this is going to be even further looking at relationships, because 7th house is committed partnerships. So that's romantic, that's business, anything with a contract. So you're looking at those really long-term relationships. What do they mean? How can you create more balance in them? Where are you identifying that there is fire, that there is conflict, that is asking to be tended to, asking to be recalibrated? And it's just calling that to mind. It's bringing it to the surface with the hope that you can approach that in a more serene way, in a compassionate, softer, more delicate Venus way.